All right, you guys, welcome back to Mixtape Talks. We have a very special guest, and I know I say that, but every guest to me is special.
Yeah.
This one holds a special place in my heart because I've known this person for so long. Photo shoots together. We kind of worked out together. I was OD'd on pre-workout, so it didn't really count. We have the man Makemoveswithjonas here with us today.
And I just feel like the anticipation is real because we've been trying to get you on for so long and everybody's been so excited. Like, what happened to Jonas? Did you guys do, like, when's that episode coming out?
Yeah.
He didn't come on or he didn't do this. So everyone's been waiting. So like, I feel like now I'm excited because
I'm very excited. I'm very excited for being here, and thank you for having me, both of you. It's a pleasure to be here. And again, this is my first podcast as well. So this is very,
It's your first podcast?
yeah, this is very monumental for me.
You're the second person we had their first
There we go.
podcast.
You got too much information to share to be able to do more podcasts.
Right.
But you've had an amazing 2022, right? Like so much has changed in your life from 2022 since I've known you, since the last time we did a photo shoot together, when you weren't competing. Kind of, I do want to get to when you started doing bodybuilding and stuff, but just tell me, like, how are you feeling off of that last year? All the changes that you had in your life.
Last year barely settled. This year, actually, because that started maybe around September is when I started my prep for that show. But I think before we met is when I was actually going through a lot of troubles already with my personal life and also just mentally. Because being a bodybuilder, you know, for us, we go through body dysmorphia and just putting your worth into another people's or another person's perspective, basically because we're getting judged. But at that time, that was probably one of the darkest moments of my life because of the fact that I wasn't even confident enough to even wear a tank top. During that photo shoot, I was wearing a damn t-shirt.
Yeah.
And so it was one of those things that I told my sponsor at the time, I was like, hey man, like I haven't been posting because, you know, I'm not confident in how I look and I've seen myself how I want to look. And this is not it. And so that took a while for me to even make amends with the fact that, you know, at that time I was trying to have a baby. And so I had to get off of, you know, enhancement drugs and all that stuff and go through protocol with all that. And it was a horrible time for me because I couldn't just make peace of that. You know, coming off of that and being able to see myself in that state, and then all of a sudden, you know, I'm a trainer, I'm a coach, and then I look the way I look. And that's me maybe just, you know, being my own worst critique. But at the end of the day, it was, you know, it was reflecting my job, it was reflecting my daily habits, and yeah. So anyways, fast forward to 2022, I had to transition everything and use all that negative energy and just lessons in my life to be able to kind of transcribe it into something that could benefit me and the people around me, because I think that's, you know, what I deserved and what people deserved that believed in me and loved me. And so I used that to basically, you know, steer me the right way, and with the right people, the right timing, it just happened organically. And I just ran with it. I recently got a tattoo that says 444, and this number means so much to me because during that time I kept seeing this number all the time, and I didn't know what it meant, right? You know, some people were just kind of like, oh, they're like angel numbers, and I didn't know what it meant until like people actually started, you know, telling me, because I put it up there. I was like, what does this mean? I always see this number. And then throughout, from like September all the way to Olympia, I would see the same number all the time, and I was like, what does this mean? Even my competitor number, even the room number.
Wow. Oh, no shit.
It was insane. It was insane. And my lady would notice these things, and I would just, when that was happening, I would like pause. I would pause and just kind of just be mindful about where I'm at, and then like kind of give thanks that I'm like, I'm here.
So just to go back a little bit, what does 444 mean to you?
So
like for the people who don't know what that angel number or what that means, what is it?
So technically it means protection. It's like an angel number, so it's protection. But for me, I deeply felt protected. So I was like, you know, this is a good reminder for me that, you know, everything kind of works out for the best, and no matter what you do, you just keep going. Whether it's a bad thing or a good thing happening with your life, you ought to keep going because you're protected. As long as you're genuine with your intentions, I feel like that's
I love that.
That's how it goes. So anyway, so kind of like that's the backstory, and I felt like I was protected. And so I was just going with the flow of things and, you know, not really going out of my way to do things, and things were just happening organically, as organic as it could. And so I think that was the most beautiful part about the whole journey that I went through. Yes, it was hard. The prep was hard, but I already knew that. I've been doing this for 6 years. So I knew it was going to be hard. I knew, you know, I had to do a certain amount of cardio. I knew I had to eat maybe 900 calories a day.
Yeah.
There's things like that. But at that point, like I knew what I expected, and I knew what I had to do in order for me to get there. So that wasn't questioned whatsoever. It's just a matter of like the stressors in my life, the other variables that I have no control of. And for some reason, again, the universe was just letting it just flow to the things that how it should be. And
Well, what are some steps that you took to get out of that dark space that you were in?
I actually got into boxing because I needed a new stimulant to basically, get that serotonin release again. And so I got into boxing for a couple months, and that did it for a while. But at some point, it was contradicting to bodybuilding because I was losing so much muscle, and it's a lot of cardio. And so I stopped realizing that was happening. And so even then, I was like, what am I gonna do now? What am I gonna do now? And so I maybe had like another year still before I started competing again. And I just kind of got back into it. I focused more on clients, focused more on I went to therapy. And started doing that. That was a big help. I used to be, I was like, how can someone else help me with my own problems when everyone has their own problem?
Preach it. No, I mean, honestly, we've had a lot of people come on here, and the number one thing they say is like, I've gone to therapy, or there's someone that I talk to. I think there's power in the words that you say, but also someone that's unbiased to your situation. And I think that's the most important thing. So how long were you in therapy for?
For almost a year.
Nice.
And I still sporadically go because it just helps me mentally, just to keep growing. And sometimes we have different mindsets that we think is okay, but maybe not okay, really, out of our own perspective. And so that opens up that mindset for me to be able to be open-minded and almost like make me grow in a way where I am being open with another idea of how I should approach things, or how things might be looked at from another person's perspective.
Right.
So, and again, with a therapist, it's not like it's someone attacking you. Like, you shouldn't live your life like this. They're giving you their honest, professional, unbiased opinion. So we're more open to receiving stuff like that when it comes from like a therapist. So anyone out there that's listening to this, you're going through some things, definitely look into therapy because it does help. But when I met you, it's so funny that you even say that, because you were the same happy Jonas. Like, I would have never thought any of the stuff that you're saying, the body dysmorphia, or just that you feel like you weren't yourself, because dude, you were still jacked to me. I was like, dude, this guy's still big. I know you were off everything for like a good what, 2 years?
2 years, yeah.
Did you ever see yourself like wake up in the mirror and being like, man, it's been 2 years. Can I do this? Could I still compete at the highest level?
Yeah, that's the thing. So I think for me at that point, I was still barely scratching the surface, because I barely got my pro card back in 2020, which was another worst year for everyone.
2020.
Oh, 2020.
Yeah, so that's when COVID was peaking. Shows was getting canceled left and right. My business was barely making anything because no one wanted to compete, no one wanted to invest on training and competing at the time.
Yeah.
And did that have a big mental
huge
fuck on your brain?
Exactly, because for me, I was raised to be able to provide and not ask for shit from people, and I don't like owing people anything. So for me, that's just how I was raised, and that's how I was wired.
Kind of humbled you a little bit though, right?
Yeah, and so at that point, that's when I started asking for help, even though I was swallowing my ego and my pride at that time. But again, that's another thing that I realized, sometimes we don't need to go through things on our own.
Right.
Sometimes we actually do need people that are genuinely just there, to even listen.
Damn, I felt like I needed to hear that.
It's true. Yeah.
And I think it's hard because as for us men, we're pre-wired to do that. I think that's just how
society has
exactly it's, conserve your emotions, or don't portray, don't be a pussy, things like that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's actually more of the other side, where if you're not able to put that out there, that energy, it'll almost consume you because it's just bottled up in there,
and eventually you'll explode.
And then I think that was a big part of that whole transition part, and also going to therapy is I realized those things are very important as someone that coaches people and help people, because I can't help people if I can't even help myself.
I love that. Do you think, going back to what you said about asking for help, I know you were born and raised in the Philippines, right? So I know my family's from Hong Kong, and other side's from Mexico, so it's two very machismo personalities.
Yes.
My dad I never remember my dad telling me he loved me or he was proud of me or gave me hugs, but it was his way of loving was tough. You're just gonna be tough. Do you feel like growing up in that Filipino culture, it's kind of very similar, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that's what attributed a lot to you, like bottling everything in?
Yeah, very much so. And I grew up with a single parent for a good time. So my mother had to be my father at the same time. And I think that transition from my mother, she didn't know exactly which hat to wear. So sometimes it got mixed up. And so at that point, I didn't know what to kind of get from it. But now I understand, because the way I am is usually because of how I was raised.
childhood traumas.
Exactly. And so I think that was a big lesson for me. Just growing up in the Philippines is a big lesson already for a lot of people. If you're from a third world country, and just learning the differences
Adapt
between them,
here.
it's huge. So I think that played a big part with how I am and who I am now. So
And when did you come to the States?
2000. So when I was 14 years old, so 16 years ago,
16 years.
2007.
Holy cow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you really lived it. You're not like someone, I came over when I was 2
Yeah.
years old. No,
Yeah,
like you,
right.
Yeah, people called me Fob. Like, I was a Fob. I was fresh off the boat. That's what it is.
I remember those.
And I remember back in high school, I'd have a normal conversation like this I spoke English, but I had a thick accent. But I remember I would speak to someone, and then I would just bust out like random Tagalog words. And then I'd be like, what the fuck is this? So, but yeah.
So, taking a step back just a little bit, what actually got you into the fitness industry and bodybuilding? Like, what got you there? What inspired you to get there?
A horrible breakup. That was
it?
I gotta be honest. Yeah, it was a horrible breakup. It was probably like my first ever actual relationship. And at the time I was, I think, around 23, 24 years old. And so, at that time I was figuring out my own self, my career, my own path. I was actually a pilot at some point. So I was
wow.
going to school for
A
aviation.
pilot.
I was like, how do you just drop that in?
Yeah, completely opposite worlds.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. I went to pilot school. I was in aviation. I got my private pilot license. I flew for about 4 or 6 months, and then I'd stop because I wanted to save the relationship that I was in at the time. So I moved to NorCal, actually. And then, so long story short, that's what got me to start, is because I had all this energy that I was like, man, like I'm depressed. Like I just lost the current love of my life at the time. And, I fucked it up basically. And I was like, how can I make this up? So I stopped going to school. I moved to where she was at the time. And then, basically, the relationship wasn't saved, and I needed an outlet to be able to kind of get myself back, get my self-esteem again. Because it's kind of like, like when you get comfortable with someone when you're in a relationship, right? And I think some people let go of themselves at some point.
Yeah.
And so, I think it's just normal.
Yeah.
But I
They
think,
get comfortable.
so at that point I was like, man, like I let go of myself. I'm not going to school. I'm not doing anything for myself. And so I started like looking up things on YouTube. At the time I was watching like Christian Guzman doing the summer shredding at that point. And I think he was one of the OGs that I followed. And I just did my own research, fell in love with it, did my first show the next following year.
You coached yourself?
No, I was actually coached by Cuts. Ariel.
Oh, shout out to Cuts, Ariel.
Shout out to Cuts, man. This is he was.
I didn't know that. You were with Ariel too?
Yeah, for a while, for I think four shows.
Wow.
My first 4 shows I was with him. So he gave me a good structure on how to do things.
So you went into competing right away, like Oh wow.
Like just dove into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was also at that time. So I moved, and then I was prepping for my first show, and I was waiting tables at the time, and I had a shift. I remember around like 11 o'clock for lunchtime, and I still had to do my cardio, but I had to go to work, and there was no time for me to go to do my cardio after.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, like I still got to do my cardio, and my friend at the time was like, just don't go to work, just quit. And I was like, I'm not gonna do that. And then 10 minutes later, I called my buddy. I was like, hey, I quit my job. I'm here doing my cardio. And,
Dedicated.
it was just kind of one of those things. I'm quite ballsy. Sometimes it doesn't really pay off. But, hey,
You don't know until you try.
yeah, it led me
Gotta
where I'm
jump.
at. So I literally took the leap of faith, I guess you can say, and like I quit my job. I blocked my managers at the time. I'm sorry, I apologize to them too, but I blocked their numbers, and I was like, I'm gonna do my cardio. This is what I want to do. And then 2 weeks passed, and I felt bad because my conscience kind of just ate me up, and I was like, hey, I'm so sorry, this and this. And they took me in. They took me right back in.
Shit.
They did?
I was a great server. I think that's also how I got started with entrepreneurship and coaching and being able to speak. Because
Speak to people.
if you asked me to do a podcast 10 years ago, I would be like, no, hell no. I'm not going to talk on a mic with other people and with cameras and stuff. But yeah, that's my social skills got developed by, when I was waiting tables, because that's how, I made money. You have to, give service to
Right.
people and give service and talk to them actually and communicate. So, but yeah.
So even now, I mean, just keeping with the growth of your business, your empire, I call it, because I know there's a lot of things you want to do with just the brand, with the Make Moves. Do you find it difficult at times to deal with so many personalities that you have to coach? Like, you have athletes, you have coaches that you coach, you have your own personal fitness, you have your girl that you coach. Like, how do you find time to balance everything mentally, not physically, but I would say
Yeah, mentally.
everybody's personality. Like, have you found that troubling for you to kind of like overcome?
I think recently I found the way on how to approach it, because before I had maybe 20, 30 clients, but again, different variables of my life at the time. So I had, different stressors, different things that was going on. So I think that plays a big part on how you handle a business. If everything around you and your community and your surrounding is like kind of going through shit, most likely you're going to be going through shit. Most likely your business is going to go through shit. Most likely all your relationships are going to
Yeah.
go through shit. So I think that was a big factor for me. So to be able to manage it now, I feel like I have maybe quadruple the clients that I have now from before, but I have been able to prioritize a lot more, because I have a lot more less stress in my life. And I'm able to allocate time to be able to actually strategically do things to 100%, not just like half-ass check-ins or like do this, do that, and nothing
Right.
else. This time I'm actually able to sit down and, talk to my clients, give them a phone call, give them this, give them that. It's all personalized. That's why, I love what I do, and it reflects. That's why, now it's an empire. Before it was
An
a group
empire.
of 6 guys.
It really was. It was like just like some gym bros. Like,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like gym bros, and then you would look on their Instagram, and all you guys have your shirts off, working out. We're getting coached, and I remember the first time I seen you was against Frankie. I think it was for a pro card. It was in
Wait,
LA.
actually, that was an LA
It
championship.
was LA Championship, right? And then I just remember your posse. I go, who the fuck are all these guys? Like, just walking around the whole venue like they own the shit. And they're like, oh, that's Jonas and all the homies. And I'm like, Jonas and the homies? Is that? And then, and then I think,
Jonas and the homies.
I forgot how we met exactly, but then I'm like, this is a really cool guy. And then now I've seen the maturity of Jonas and the homies to the whole Make Moves empire. And I call it an
insane.
empire because it's getting there.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of talked off camera, but I have a lot of trainers that compete, and they're always like, oh, I'm going to go to San Diego. I got to fucking compete against Jonas and his team. And like, you guys are really, really well known in San Diego, LA, even Anaheim. When you did your show, everybody showed up. When you have athletes there, it's a big crowd of people. So
Yeah.
the empire is growing.
Yeah.
And I always wonder just how you manage it all.
It's not just me. I really have a good team and a good support system now that makes it happen. I think those are the key components. Like a system doesn't work if it's just you.
Right.
It's a system for a reason. So for me, I have great coaches in the team. My team is very loyal. Like, whenever you see, let's say we have a show next weekend or 2 weeks from now, organically people will just show up from the team to show support to that person, even if they barely know that person, just because that became a thing that just happens in my team. I don't invite anyone to any of them. They know it's going to cost them almost $100 to go to prejudging and finals. Why would someone spend $100 and their whole entire day just to show support to someone they barely know?
Yeah.
That to me is why I think my team is very special and it's successful, is because of the people that's in it.
Supportive.
It's not just me. I barely just, I set the tone for them, and I practice what I preach, and I'm honest to them as far as how I do my thing with coaching. But I believe it's really the people that's in it that makes it that way, because all those 6 people that I told you, the gym bros, are still on my team, and now some of them are my best friends, and that's just the way it is. They make the team special because they're genuine.
Yeah.
They have genuine intentions. And I think a big thing with what I tell a lot of coaches and trainers when they ask me, look, if you can give me a tip, like how do I get to, where you're at? You have to just care. You have to care about what you do. You have to care about
good.
the people, because I think people are worried about like social media. How can I, make new followers? How can I make more money? You're focused on the wrong thing. We're in the industry where you're supposed to give service to other people. So if you're a coach or a trainer and you're focused on like how to make money, more likely, yeah, you'll make your money, but there's that cap, right? Because you're forgetting the deeper aspects of coaching and training is you have to give a shit. So I think that's what sets me apart with what I do. Not only people, but the mindset.
Yeah.
I love that too, because you'll get exposed real quick if you're in it for the money. Especially again,
And it'll show. It shows.
It'll show, but this fitness community is so small that people don't even understand. We're all tied in. Everyone's been coached by somebody.
Yeah.
I know you go to Zero Gravity. I talk to Zero Gravity guys. I talk to everybody, and it's always the same thing. It's like when someone doesn't care, you're going to expose yourself sooner or later, and then that's going to be the word of mouth. And you've been true to the game for a while. I mean, ever since I've known you, dude, you've been practicing what you preach. You've always been really respectful to people. So I think it shows the community sees that, your community, and that's what keeps growing and growing. But you guys are really well known for traveling. Like you guys are like the you guys are like the Raiders or like the Green Bay Packers, man. Like every show that there's a Jonas athlete, it's like it's all just you guys. I mean, especially if it's lights out. If it's San Diego, it's like you bring half of San Diego to the show. So
it's true.
It's true.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, it speaks volumes about the culture that you've built over the years, being true, having those 6 same gym bros that you guys, built that community together. And I love to see it. I know, bigger scale wise, we were kind of talking about what you want to do further with the brand. So what's like the next, let's just say 5-year move that you want to do with the Make Moves?
That's big. 5 years, I think.
It's really not. 5 years go by fast.
It does. But having more coaches within the team to be able to expand more, and also, be able to help more people, because I can only do so much. I can only help people. I can only have so many hours in my time, and I want to be able to, also enjoy the fruits of my labor. And so having that balance, what I think the most beneficial way is to expand more and hire more coaches. Kind of like, the structure of Self-Made. Right. You expand that way, you franchise the brand, and you set the tone for them, and you kind of just let everyone, be an independent contractor at the end of the day. And so that's the goal, to be able to expand and have the right people and keep, the right people growing the business organically as much as possible. I think as one of my hurdles right now is being able to expand and actually trust the people that I'm gonna hire and have within the team, because like what he said earlier, we were talking, it reflects back to me no matter what. Like if someone like another coach under the team like does a horrible job or whatever, hope not, but it'll go back to me. It'll be like, oh, like this coach.
No one blames that coach.
Yeah.
They say, oh, make moves.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. I hear it all the time. Like, oh, one of these coaches gave me this, but it goes back to that team.
Yeah. Exactly. All the time. And so that to me is like a big hurdle for me to be able to expand. Because at the end of the day, it's I want to protect. It's my baby. It's like I've seen it grow. I took care of it. I nurtured it. So I gave my all to. I sacrificed a lot. So it's kind of like it's my baby. It is my baby. And so that to me is the biggest struggle, to be able to expand that way.
Yeah.
But 5 years, hopefully we have a team home-based gym. I think that'd be really dope to have, and just a space for a lot of people to just work out, and because I think that's already present. It's just a matter of having that space for
put an actual space together.
Yeah, I think that'd be important. So I think those two would be the biggest thing for me the next 5 years.
Would you want to do like a independent contractor type gym, or like a membership type gym, or like there's so many ways to do it?
Yeah.
Have you thought that far ahead?
I think it's like an exclusive type of gym. Like, if we're cool, like you don't have to pay a day pass to go visit the gym kind of thing. It's just one of those things that, like, again, it's not a money making like gym. It's more so it'll make its money by being the way it is.
100%.
So
I love that.
I think that to me is what the model will be.
Yeah.
So.
You've been to Dragon's Lair, right, in Vegas?
Yeah.
I remember I was there, and then they're like, "Oh, Flex is closing the gym from like 12 to 3 because his boys are gonna come work out." And I'm like, okay. So like we couldn't go there, but that's what I'm saying is like Flex is like, he has memberships, but he also goes, yeah, I'm gonna go do my own workout with my boys. So he just literally closes the gym and everyone has to leave.
The people who have memberships.
But I mean, you sign up for that, right?
Yeah.
Like, like, hey, disclaimer, Flex Lewis can kick you out of this gym anytime you want.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it is really cool to have a space. I can definitely see, I know we've talked for a while about like potentially you having a gym, and I like where your head's at, right? I'm not doing it to like, oh, this is the membership cost, this is this. It's like I want a home for my people, and the people will the income will come just based on that relationship. And I relate a lot to CrossFit. CrossFit, people hate on it, but it's a family.
It's a family.
So people just stay. They'll pay the fees. They take pride and ownership of the equipment. They'll pick up when you have a gathering or something. Everyone's going to show out. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing too is like, how do you compete? Like my girl asked me the other day, like, there's always a next gym. There's always a next something, right? And I think the dope equipment, posing room for like the bodybuilders and like specific things that you can put in the gym, but you can have the dopest equipment, but like, is there a community based type of thing where you feel welcome, where there's no assholes, where there's like, people can take off their shirts, but they're not like obnoxiously just like kicking people off because they think they're better than everyone.
I think it goes back to what we were talking about earlier too, is like, there's so many of everything. There's some, like every, like industry or anything is saturated, but like, it's not you. It's not what you have to bring. Like, as long as you're bringing in like exactly what you said, like that, your empire is coming. So you're creating that like vibe, that home, that family. It doesn't matter what like the person to the left or right's going to be doing. You're just, you already got it, Yeah.
And we're trainers, so I think that's what we sell at the end of the day, is the feeling that, your people are capable of more. They walk out of the gym.
That's what it is.
Yeah, they walk out of the gym after our sessions. They're like, wow, I just did that.
Yeah.
And you're the person that guided them there. You're the person that gave them that different mindset before they came in, and they walked out a different person.
And they're surrounded by people who are doing the same thing.
Exactly.
So it's just an extra push for them, and they feel more inspired.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that goes with any industry, is you can't really worry about competition. I mean, not competition.
To an extent.
For the most part.
To scale, obviously, your business, and you need to know what's right. But at the end of the day, you gotta.
Right, but I think where people get lost is they perceive someone as competition, then they invest so much of their time looking into how they do things, and then you get away from why you started and what your normal path is.
And then they fall behind.
Because I could tell you right now, there's a new gym that opens around me every single day.
Right.
And every single day, it's the best. It's hot. And I'm not disputing it is, but it's like, I don't even pay attention to it because I know what I'm doing has been proven to work over the years.
Yep. Yeah.
So you're going to have ebbs and flows in business, but if you stay true to why you originally started it, then it's not going to go wrong. It's only going to thrive. So, like you said, equipment, obviously it does matter. Who has the coolest posing room? Who has this? Who has that? Who has this? And then you go into the gym and nobody likes each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Or they're all fighting, or the gym's a mess, and then you come into somewhere like where your gym would be.
It's a family.
Where it's community.
It's a community.
And that's what we try to preach within our gyms as well.
That's one of the main things that I observed from you, actually, as an entrepreneur and a gym owner. I remember you still do it. You would do meetings with your trainers, and it's either there's Chick-fil-A in and out, and I think simple gesture like that, where you go out of your way to feed your people, or to just make them feel like you took some time out of your day to make them feel like they're worthy of something, or just you care. I think that's a huge factor for us entrepreneurs to be able to actually be successful in our job.
Especially because you don't have to do that thing.
Exactly.
People are just like, we're just paying you rent, right? Like, you don't have to do anything for us, really, because it's up to us. Like, we're the entrepreneurs, we're the people, it's our business. But like, the fact that you still care about your trainers and you still take the time to like mentor and we want to see you grow, like that goes a mile. So that's going back to like those gyms who are like, maybe they look dope, or they're like, they have the hottest whatever, but like the integrity and the family and the community, like none of that is there.
That last Chick-fil-A was about $400.
You see, like, you didn't have to do that.
The thing is, it comes back tenfold.
And I feel like that in those meetings, even after that, like everyone was like re-inspired. Like it was really dope to see everyone's like posting, and like it was cool. Like those are the type of things that like keep people going.
And honestly, that's always been, and I think that's just fitness in general. Fitness is always about like inspiring people to not even necessarily step on stage. You probably come across some lifestyle clients that are like, hey, I've never had a six-pack, and they have a six-pack. Or maybe a girl's like, I never worn a bikini, and now she's wearing a bikini. I mean, I've seen it. And that fuels me. Like when I hear trainers, like even after the meeting, hey Jay, I just started making like $11K a month. Like I never thought I worked at Starbucks before. I made $2,200 a month or whatever, and now they're like, whoa. I have clients or have trainers that have gone to Miami, have bought houses, have bought cars, and it's like, You know, they'll always come with or message me. And my favorite is when, you probably get it a lot, is when someone achieves something and the first person that they message is me.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, they're like, dude, I literally just got done signing your car. Thank you so much. And it's like, I feel I don't do a lot. I just want to see you succeed as much as you want to see me succeed. And that's what builds that community, kind of similar to what you have. You show up to a lot of shows too.
Yeah.
And then the people reciprocate that, and they all will drive down 2 hours from San Diego to come see you. So that's amazing to see, and stay with that, because that's where it's going to take your business to the next level.
Even
It's
further
gonna
and separate you from the rest.
So last year you also signed a major sponsorship with Dark Sport. We just had Crystal on, and she was telling us about all the great, exciting things, you know, but she's been in a little bit longer. So I kind of want to hear your experience with Dark Sport. Obviously, they're probably the #1 fitness brand right now out. Everyone knows them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We heard about the initiation process.
Circle of Death.
The Circle of Death.
They jump you in.
Yep.
Yeah.
They jump you in. Sounds like a cult.
So
Great.
how did that start? Did they recognize you after you won the show, or how did that communication even start?
So funny story. So when I started, of course, it's like everyone's bodybuilder's dream to be able to get sponsored by Dark Sport. That's one of the
Isn't that
things.
crazy? It just came out of like
No,
Yeah.
no, they've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
they
They've been-
have, but what I'm saying is even now it's just like
It's a cult.
it's been for so long, but now it's like I walk into a gym and it's just every
Whoa,
single
yeah.
person,
Yeah.
like you know,
It used to be. I remember it used to be Nike, right? Like everyone had like a
Yes.
Nike fit on, a Nike shirt, Nike hoodie.
or just other like brands.
No,
you know?
I really felt like it was Nike.
Yeah.
Now you go in there, like, and now I pay attention more. It's like, holy cow! It's like
everyone-
Dark Sport, everything. Yeah.
Everybody, like literally, like I just went to the gym because obviously I'm always at Self-Made, but I was like I'm gonna go to Gold's again. I hadn't been there in a while too, and I was just like. Literally, I was counting in my head. It was just funny.
Kind of Dark
And
Sport.
every single person, I was like, "Oh my god, it's amazing! It's amazing to see, like, just how it evolved." Because also, I feel like it was kind of exclusive to some people. Like, you would see it, but it was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you got that!" Like, it's crazy to see it everywhere now. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, so it's a huge blessing, I feel like, and I always describe it to people because I know Olympia is monumental for me, and it wasn't the first one, but not to take away anything from that experience, but the initiation and being part of Dark Sport, because it
even
happened
bigger?
just
Was
shortly after that.
comparable to Olympia.
Wow.
Not comparable.
It was better.
My experience with
Holy
the
cow.
initiation was like just I'm getting goosebumps, but it was so exhilarating. It was so exhilarating.
Wow.
People were just there, kind of like the what I'm trying to emulate with my team. It's they have a team family aspect where they're all different,
You
like
can
different
see that
backgrounds,
too.
different. We have females, males from different sides of the world, and the thing is, the great thing about that is they share a common ground, which is the mindset.
Yeah.
And then whether it's the gym, whether how we approach things, where that's what we share, and then when you get there, it happens organically. People in Dark Sport will welcome you with open hands because you deserve to be there. You're there for a reason.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, coming back to what you asked, how it started, I was inspired by them already from the beginning, and I thought it was like, oh, I'm never gonna be a Dark Sport athlete. It's just one of those things. It's impossible. And then I remember they would always do athlete search, like every year at some point, and then COVID happened, and at some point I was contemplating. I was like, maybe I should do the athlete search. Maybe I can take my shot there and see if I can make it happen. And in the back of my head, I'm like, nah, like if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. And beginning of last year, I had a different sponsor at the time, and my heart was genuinely like inclined for them, but I had responsibilities and I had contracts, so I had to fulfill that. And so organically, they would comment on my stuff, and then funny story, my lady actually was the one who had told me like, oh, they have their eyes on you. And I'm like, oh no, it's just an emoji saying like the little two eyes thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On like one of my posts. And they're like, no, like they have their eyes on you. Like I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Cause so I was like, no, it's okay.
So why else would they take the time to be
Yeah.
leaving
Yeah, just
you
kind
comments?
of brushing it off. I was like, it's not true. And then like I did my pro debut, and I was rocking Dark Sport at the time, and they contacted.
move.
Yeah.
Is that what it was? That show, and then they saw you in the Dark Sport shorts, and it was kind of like, you
Yeah.
feel like that's what pushed you over the edge.
Michael and them we've talked before, and I told them my aspirations and my goal is to be one of their athletes. and I put it out there, you know.
Nice.
But it wasn't one of those things that I pursued because I like to make things happen organic.
And really quick, at that time when you were wearing dark sport, did your contract end with the other sponsorship?
Correct. I had to.
Okay,
I had to.
Okay.
So at that time, like it was already done. And so during the transitional period, I was just happened to be wearing dark sport, and it's a good brand. Again, like it's, you know, I just couldn't wear it at the time, just my contracts. But when it happened, when I won my pro debut, just shortly after, you know, they're like, we love the way you've been doing things with the team, with my business, with how I put myself out there. And then I won my pro debut, and that I'm going to Olympia. So they recognize all that, and then it just so happened quickly. I think and then about 2-3 weeks after I won my pro debut, they already had told me the contracts, the
Yeah, it was pretty
registration.
quick. I was even like, whoa, that was over, huh?
Yeah, and again, like that was just me coming off of like, taking a 2-year break
Right.
and then doing my pro debut and winning it. So for me at that time, I was like, what is going on? And then again, back to this, I kept seeing this thing again all the time, and I was like, what is going on? And so, yeah, it goes back to, again, just getting protected and just staying genuine with your...
Consistent.
Yeah, staying genuine with your intentions. And I think just, you know, it didn't fall in my lap because I worked my ass off to be where I'm at. But I think it happened the way it should be. And it happened at the perfect time. And yeah, I think God's timing is always good.
Everything.
So I think that's the biggest thing for me, just trusting that. And so ever since then, I've been always just mindful about that. And I'm more easygoing now because I feel like I'm that. Yeah, that solidified the thought of he has my back, or whatever you believe in. The universe has my back.
I love that.
So yeah, it's dope. It's dope. So it's such a blessing to be part of dark sport because again, there's a reason why the same athletes has been there since day one.
I've noticed that as well.
And so, and they take care of their people.
Yeah.
You know, they do events like the one that we were just talking about, the Memento Mori.
Oh, we're gonna get into
Yes.
the dark sport of it.
Yeah, they do those things, you know, just to give back to their people and
I love that.
and the customers and the people that rocks their stuff. And again, yeah, it is like a cult because at the end of the day, like I have my masseuse wearing that too, and he's like,
my God,
he's like, I feel dope, like I just put up 20 pounds in my bench press, and this guy is like the scrawniest guy, and then now he's, you know, he rocks dark sport and like he uses my code and all that stuff, and it's just dope when people share those things with you, you know, because they're not only supporting you, but they're supporting something that's much deeper than like the clothing itself.
But just listening to you and then our last guest too, like the consistency there. Yeah, Crystal, like you guys, your experience was the same. Like you guys talked it up so much where I'm like,
we're on the outside and we're so, I mean, that's why like this event we're going to go to.
It's like so intriguing to me, even more so.
The Memento Mori. We have like a whole team of us going, and we were just talking off camera about what we're gonna wear. Our dark sport athletes. But I know Crystal was like emphasized really that initiation, that jump. We call it the jumping in.
Yeah, I'm like, you guys got jumped in.
How was that? Like, did it feel awkward? Did it feel normal to you? Because I did see it. I mean, I saw pictures of it. It looked intense.
Insane. Yeah.
The adrenaline was through the roof. Again, like my experience from that, because the day before that was Olympia, and again, like. If I was to weigh it out, Olympia's right here, and that experience was like right there.
Wow.
That's crazy. You know we're recording this, right? We're gonna play that back.
That's insane to me.
You had more excitement getting signed by Dark Sport than you did going to the Olympia. That's insane.
And the initiation was an amazing experience for me because, again, it's a
shout out to Dark Sport for providing that. I just think that is so amazing. As a brand, to be able to provide those experiences for people, especially when you would think that the other experience would be even more exhilarating. That's insane.
And again, not to take away anything from Olympia, because that to me is another monumental thing. But for me to be able to say that genuinely, they're doing
goes a long way.
Damn good job with how they take care of us and the brand itself. Because like they always say, all those things that they say, they never fucking give up, the same shit, different day. Like those things might sound cliche, but we live and breathe those things. Like we don't just fuck around and say those things for a reason. We actually preach those things and we walk the walk.
So walking in next Saturday, man,
I'm super
that
excited.
thing's gonna be done.
Let me tell you something.
That thing's gonna be done.
I don't even it's like almost like we're going to
I don't even know what to
I don't
say.
even- yeah.
Better than Coachella, and we don't even have an artist there.
Okay.
Jonas, first Jonas said,
Going to any award show,
Right.
like doesn't even matter. Like this is it. This is it.
So Jonas said his guy put on the t-shirt and he was already like benching 20 pounds more. So buy a dark sports shirt, your PR goes
There
up.
we go.
He said that getting jumped in or the
better
circle
than
of death,
going to Olympia.
better going to Olympia, and he said this event's gonna be better
Better
than
than
Coachella.
Coachella.
Hey, that's
Listen.
my perspective.
Listen.
No, I love it.
Me
No,
too. I'm excited.
For us. Like I've always been, I'm fascinated not so much by I want to say dark sport, because what they're doing is an amazing job. I'm inspired, and I'm always like trying to pick the brain of people that created such a deep culture.
Yeah.
Right. Michael and I know a couple of their brothers, right? Are
Yeah,
they brothers?
yeah.
I've been rocking their stuff since Civil Regime. Right. And I remember the Civil had its own little community.
Yeah.
It wasn't, and then I remember they did dark sport, and I'm like, what are they doing with this? Because this isn't really their realm. I mean, if you see them, they're good looking, trendy
Yeah.
dudes, you know, and then
Because I
Michael even
remember
did a show.
Sybil. Even I had Sybil.
Right?
Yeah.
So he did a show, he did this. The next thing you know, it was just a t-shirt. Then it was only bodybuilders wearing it. And then he
Smart.
just built such a community that I'm always like, what his thought process was,
Just a
you know? And
genius.
then when we get people like you, athletes, and you guys talk about it, it's like a joy in your face
Yeah.
talking about dark sport. And it's crazy to me, because I hope when people talk about like self-made,
Self-made,
and,
yeah.
like, I work with Jason, I hope they have that same
Yeah.
expression, because that he's impacting your guys' life at such a deeper level. I'm pretty sure he understands it and knows it.
Yeah.
But us on the outside looking in, we're like, what is it about them?
It's
that's
to me,
so
I look at it like this too, is because anybody can start a clothing brand, right? And you're just like, well, everyone's in the fitness industry, so let me just come up with a fitness brand. But like, there's so much more like depth to this.
Yeah.
Like listening to it, it's not just a clothing brand.
Yeah.
It's not just an athletic brand. It's like so much more.
never fucking give up. man.
Never fucking
Come
give
on.
up, dude.
Yeah, and I think I just realized now one of the similarities that I think why people succeeded, why dark sport is so big.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. You said you know what is it that makes them that way? What started that thing? I think they had the same guys. Remember the same
Their
story?
team. It all comes back
The
to their
same gym
team.
bros.
Yeah.
They had the same guys that's been there since day one. Like Oh Boy, like we talked about
we
this.
talked about that, uh-huh.
Oh Boy has been the heart of that. And then some of my mentors like Jared Goodrich, all those guys
Crystal
have been,
talked about him too.
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So all those guys have been there for a reason, because they believed in it. They run with that shit, and they share the same common ground. You know, whether it's different walks in life, they share that same common ground. And whether it's the mentality or your perspective on certain things, that's what makes them so different than every other companies out there. Is because they truly believe on what they preach and what they
Yeah.
say. And I think that's some people it's hardcore, but hey, that's what separates the great
Yeah.
from the good.
Absolutely.
Well,
I
I'm
love that
fucking
you said that.
sold, and I'm excited
sold
because
too.
I mean, I know
Coach Jonas.
Hey, Coach Jonas at checkout. I know we're talking about
Well,
the event.
yep.
And
About to-
it's like I mean, I was just informed today that everything's paid for, right? You have free food, you have free alcohol, free everything there. So it's like there's a pool for you guys don't know
We're
that.
already talking about our outfits. Like, what are you
Yeah.
gonna wear? What are you gonna wear?
So you guys are listening. You get this will come out before we go, but we're taking the whole Mixtape team and we're going to be at this event. It's the same weekend as Coachella. Basically, Dark Sports throwing their own Coachella. It's a pool. It's its own little island.
According to Jonas, it's gonna be better than Coachella.
Better than Coachella. So I'm excited. We're
too.
gonna do so many interviews there. We're gonna have Amherst do push-up competition with Old Boy.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
We're still trying to decide what to wear.
I'll
But
be having piggyback rides. Everyone give me piggyback rides.
oh, we don't know.
Don't give me alcohol.
Don't give-
Okay?
No, I mean I'm looking forward to experiencing that with you.
Yeah.
You know, for me, it's like I've always been a fan of yours, and to see your growth through all the hardship you went through. Like your 1 year went through hardship, and then you came out with flowers.
Yeah.
Literally.
Right, and
That's-
it's
yeah.
been great. That's why I've been wanting you on. So even you getting to Olympia, I know Olympia is the pinnacle of what your end game is to be Mr. Olympia. Would be it. How far off do you think you are from there?
From our kitchen to yours, this episode is brought to you by Meals by Mill. Enjoy healthy, delicious meals right to your door every day. Use promo code MIX15 at checkout for 15% off your first order. Serving LA, Inland Empire, and Orange County areas. Order today.
I mean, you see, and honestly, like you see the competition.
Right.
And we talked about that with another coach. I'm not going to say his name, but he's like, sometimes people turn pro and they're like, I'm going to win Olympia. And in my head, I'm like, you don't have a chance of winning Olympia. You just don't have the genetics. Like even if you're pro, even if you win a pro show, when you get backstage, he told me, you see the difference almost immediately.
Yeah.
And you saw that with the classic
You
physique.
just don't have the genetics.
I mean, Sebum,
He's light years ahead of everyone.
Like
right?
literally.
Like we were looking at like Ramon, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. And
Yeah.
then they put him next to each other. You're like, come
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
you know.
He's just like yeah.
So
He's just a
who are the
beast.
top three right now in your division? Like top three in the world that you have your eye on right now? Obviously, Banks because he's Mr. Olympia.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Who would be the next one?
Brandon is there.
And you see him. And you see him all the
champ.
time.
Yeah,
He's dark sport as
And
well.
Yeah, his demeanor as well too is a champion demeanor, is
Mm-hmm.
a champion mindset. And for me, again, like not to be biased because he's in dark sport, but that to me is the champion mindset for
Yeah.
me at least. So yeah, those top two, and then
Would be another one. I'm just interested to hear from like your.
you never know. It's always there's always guys coming in and out of that rank, you know. So third, that's a hard one.
I mean, it's you're not talking. It's just pretty much like I always because even for me, I have my eye on who competition is and what it is.
Yeah.
So like you like to just take a look
good
to
to know.
kind of see.
Yeah.
So like I'm always
Yeah.
thinking like I don't think you're crazy far off, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's not I'm unbiased. I don't think you're crazy far off from potentially winning Olympia. Like I know there's you got to prove yourself. You got to do
Yeah.
some stuff. But your physique is crazy. Like your front. You've improved so much from your
Yeah.
back. So I want to know like where you think you stack up with these guys.
Realistically, and not a lot of people know this, but my heart is in classic physique.
Oh, I knew it.
And so for me, the reason why I steered to men's physique is because one, the judges wanted me to stay in men's physique because that had to be a factor that I had to consider because it's playing a part to my success. But long story short,
not where your heart is.
Yeah, my classic physique. I love the posing, and I love the whole art of being able to showcase our physiques in so many forms. And I think that's where my heart is. And so that is my goal, to be able to transition there and then be able to see where I stand with the big boys. I'm not gonna be C-Bum, you know, if that's reality of it, but I'm gonna be Jonas Moves. So
There you
that's
go.
what it is.
So what does the transition like that look like? Like I know even Pavin was doing, he was like top 4 every time in the world. And then he's like, I want to do classic. He hasn't made a debut for it, but then he came back to men's physique. Like, do the judges look at that, or do you think it matters to them, like what category you're in, or are they kind of like, hey, wherever you show up and you look the best is where we're going to place you?
I think that's what it is. It's really if you fit the division that you're in and that you want to do, and you know it reflects your placing. I think that's when you actually go with how you decide and choose between men's physique or classic. It's about what the judges want at the end of the day, and the division and where it's going and what the look they're trying to emulate. I think it always changes too, year by year. It's always changing with the criteria of judging and the looks of people. So you never know. But yeah, that would be dope to at least land the top 10, my first classic physique debut, and hit the Olympia.
Oh, do you have a time frame from when you would? I mean, you don't have to give a specific date because the ops are watching.
Right.
But for the most part, like, do you have like I want to give myself 2 years on legs, 3 years? Because that's exactly what it is. Honestly, it's
about
legs.
About 2 or 3 years of muscle density, because that takes time. Like you just have to understand that to be able to get that nice dense muscle, of course with enhancements and stuff, but that just comes with hardcore training,
Grinding it out.
Yeah.
Yep, heavy.
And to me that'll take 2 or 3 years solid training.
Super
whatever you're doing.
realistic.
Yeah,
Very realistic.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
because I mean, if you look at like people like God, Sebum, Ramon, I mean, those guys are crazy.
Insane.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you look at their transformations too, they started not that impressive. I mean, impressive enough to be able to be at the Olympia, but
Right.
their progression every year, especially Chris Bumstead, he's progressing every year as if like, how is he making weight?
See, so I have a couple, I have a couple questions when it comes to that.
Yeah.
How is he making weight? But how the hell does he still stay so motivated, knowing that his physique is it's enough to win?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, of course, there's a lot of work that goes into it, but this guy put on so much muscle.
Yeah.
And stayed under the cap. He must be like dehydrated and just dying by the time he steps on that scale.
Yeah, and I think big shout outs to Hani Rambod. I mean, he got him to that next level.
Yeah,
that put him years ahead of everyone, and I think that's a huge big move for him. So, but yeah, that guy's the GOAT for a reason. He's probably the Arnold of our time.
Yeah, for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's you can't deny that.
I heard another podcast where they compared him to. They asked him if Arnold was to, if you were to go back in time with your physique and compete with Arnold, like who do you think would win?
It's different.
And well, that's what he was saying. He's like, I don't even think they would know what to do with me. He's like, I'm too lean. I'm too big.
Yeah.
Like they would probably either dock me or they would just be like, who the hell?
Different.
Different time.
It's different. It's like
times.
comparing Kobe and Michael Jordan. It's just
Right.
different. It's just different times.
Yeah.
Different times.
So going back to Olympia, there was some controversy between who should have won, right, or who did win. I know you're obviously dark sport, Brennan Hendricks. How do you feel like that played out? Like you were there. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm asking you, because you were backstage. You were looking at their physiques. You were seeing everything. We all look from pictures and IG.
Yeah.
Like, what was your take on that?
From a coach's perspective, you have to
Yes.
respect the fact that that's what the judges want.
And what is that? What do you mean? What do they want? What are they looking for? What was so different that Ebanks brought that Brennan Hendricks was maybe lacking?
I think the package that they're looking for as far as the judges and what they wanted for the face of men's physique, Mr. Olympia at the time, is Eric Banks. That's just the reality of it, And don't get me wrong, they both look amazing.
They looked crazy.
It's just a matter of what the judges wanted at that time.
And what do you have to say to people, like, because I hear it a lot. Obviously I'm not in, like, I don't compete, but I hear it so much from people and they're just like, it's all politics. Like, what is your take on when people say those things?
I think to an
because obviously
extent.
you're saying, is it?
I think to an extent it does play a part, because at the end of the day, it's a business.
Thank you.
And they're gonna pick someone that looks good, of course, because that's gonna be on their posters all over the world,
Right.
and then their social medias and all that stuff. So at the end of the day, you have to respect the fact that it is a business. So
Right.
at some
As everything.
point, at some point, you won't have control over the results, and that's just the reality of it. And I think from seeing that the first time when I was in backstage, that to me opened up a whole perspective on that question itself, because it does play a role with how things go, and you just have to make amends with it and just keep doing what you're doing. One of my boys, Ben, he after the show, after Olympia, he's like, the goal is for you to figure out what are you going to do after Olympia. It's not about you're placing at some point, because you're here, you're
Right.
one of the top people in the world.
So the fact of even
Yeah.
being there is huge.
It's about what you
Yeah.
do. It's about what you do after that. It's about how you let your business prosper, or how you handle things, how your demeanor changes. How all those things play a big part. And I think that's a very good question to ask to someone that had just did their first Olympia, is what you do with it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are pros. A lot of people are
Too many people are pros, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. I mean, I feel like too many people are pros.
Yeah.
It's almost like oversaturated. And I like the fact that they're going now this year. Like, you got to win it to get in.
Yeah.
Some of these people would skate by with points. I mean, I don't even want to use the word skate by, because I know how hard it is to do a show and
Right.
to put your body
Regardless.
through
Right.
multiple shows isn't skating by. But then you'd get to the Olympia stage, and like, if you look at, just open bodybuilding, those top guys are like interchangeable,
Yeah.
so like, and then you had like men's physique. It's how many items were there? 4?
There's like 67 guys.
That's what I mean. There's like 67 guys, so it's like, okay, all these guys got in. So I like the fact that they're going more towards like, you got to win it to get in, that's the only way to do it. But you're right. This is a business. When people don't understand, it's like, what's the best package that we're going to represent, the IFBB, social media, any outside variables, drugs, women, stuff like
Yeah.
that. It all plays a part. It's just like a NFL franchise, what they want their quarterback to be.
Yeah.
They do a whole investigation on them, because
Yeah.
you're the face of the franchise.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted your take, because you were there, you saw the physiques, and some people were like, well, Ebanks or Brandon was holding some water in his back and this and that. I'm like, on the pictures, it looks pretty similar from the front, but the back, Ebanks just looks like he had it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and now they're saying Brendan Hendricks' arms were too big. So it's like, okay, so do you take some size away from your arms to compete?
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, do you start to take size away to
And I can
cater to
understand.
that?
I can understand how that could be, just from like, an outside perspective, how that can literally be a mental suck. Like, literally, like how you can easily get body dysmorphia, or how you can easily like it's just crazy. But for you to still find a way to like come out of that and still keep pushing, it's like all of that like fascinates me with people who do compete or
Yeah.
bodybuild, because it's like your determination, your like dedication, and the things that, like, all of your sacrifices.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a special person, you know. Or it's not for everybody. It's not for the weak.
Well, you're looking for a coach, right?
I am, honestly, but I was just saying, I was like, it's me trying to not eat a cookie. I'm literally telling myself, like, you don't need it. You know what it tastes like. You literally, you already know what it tastes like. Just leave it alone. Turn your head. Like,
If you go 3 weeks without a cookie, hit me up.
yeah. Well, I do. I'm just saying, like, those little things, like, it's
It's just a lifestyle change. I mean, that's all it really is. But I feel like once you start doing it, it's just like anything, like even a lifestyle coaching. Like
Yeah.
once you get used to not eating out, once you get used to not putting that extra alcohol in your body, it just becomes
habit.
part. It becomes a
It
habit. It
is.
becomes a normal routine.
Yeah, like, even for me, like, I cut out, like, alcohol. I hardly drink, like, like maybe once a month, if that.
Yeah.
But I feel now when I drink, I hate it. Like, I'm like, ugh, I don't want to drink. It makes me feel like shit. I can't even take it anymore. Like, but it's the same thing with food. When you cut out the bad, then your body already, like, rejects it. You don't want it anymore, and then when you eat it, you feel like shit. So then
True.
it's easier to, like, not have it anymore.
Yeah.
Jonas, give her your number after the show. So, I mean, you've accomplished a lot. We know what you want to do in the future. How do you think that the Jonas that was a pilot would be proud of the Jonas now? Like,
That's a good question.
if they could go back, you go back in time, and
Yeah.
the Jonas that's a pilot, and like, dude, this is where we're at now. What do you think you'd be the most proud of?
I think knowing, let's say we all have something that we know we want,
Yeah.
right? We deeply want. And if you settle for anything less than that, you will now be able to justify anything to be able to make yourself feel better, unless you actually get that, whatever that it is
Yeah.
for you, whether it's, being an Olympian, being a successful entrepreneur, being the best trainer in the world, or whatever the case may be, being the best, like anything. I think for me, the person that I was before would be proud, because I was able to take the step that a lot of people don't want to take, because they don't want to sacrifice. And again, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to be able to, make that decision. And, my mom was, at the end of the day, I was like, my mom was not proud of me, doing bodybuilding, because there's no guarantee, right? There's no, I had no money. I was from the Philippines, so I have no other ways to be able to secure my future with how she wanted me to do it, because that's the old way thinking, right? And I can't blame them, because that's their upbringing. And so
She's
for
like,
me,
become a nurse. No, I'm just kidding.
she's a nurse. My mom's a nurse. So hey, that to me is something that I think a lot of people are scared to do, is to be able to take that extra step to actually make the move on what they actually truly want in life. And I think that was the biggest learning lesson for me, to be able to have the balls to say, I know what I deserve, and this is not it, so I'm gonna move on. So that's the big takeaway for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge
love that.
that's a huge difference from, like, potentially being a pilot and doing that stuff to chasing, where you're at now. So I'm always interested to see, like, because I've asked myself that, like, what would I be proud of the younger me? And so I'm always interested in people that are in your position that had such a change in direction from the original path to where you're at now. What are some of the things that, and this is just an entrepreneur talk, that you've done besides therapy and stuff like that to kind of handle a lot of the stress of entrepreneurship? Because there's so many, right? You're always looking for
you can't narrow
clients.
it down. You have to learn from your mistakes. You definitely have to learn from your mistakes. As cliche as that sounds, you can't make the same mistakes over and over and then expect different results, or
Right.
do the same shit over and over and then you're like, what's going on? Nothing's changing. So that to me is the biggest thing, to be able to make that and actually grow from it. Make the mistakes, but not be scared of making mistakes, and learn from it.
Yeah, because you did say, like, when you quit your job to do cardio, it was like, you say, I do a lot of bonehead things, and sometimes it doesn't pay off, and not that you regret it, but I think, like, no matter what, even if you do those leaps of faith and they don't work out, you learn a lot from them.
Yeah.
right? It's not necessarily always
Yeah.
something that's like, oh my God, I didn't succeed. I didn't
No.
become this. It's like, what did you learn from it? How do you apply that to what you do now?
Yeah.
And like you said, it carries over. You being a waiter, or right, you're a
Yeah.
waiter,
Yeah.
all that stuff. People don't understand. It's all skills that you acquire. I look at it like a treasure box,
You
right? Like
have to
everything.
fail.
Yeah. You have to fail, but you acquire a new skill. You put that in there. And
Yeah.
then by the time you know it, you're so well versed in a lot of things that you're like, I can think back of times of when I worked at McDonald's, stuff that applies to me now that I was like, I would have never thought that would apply to me. but
Yeah.
it does.
People probably don't know that about you, that you worked at McDonald's and now you have 2 gyms successful. You have a great family, you know, just doing podcasts every now and then. Like that's people see the success.
They don't
But
see
they
the
don't
journey.
see exactly. It's just the iceberg illusion kind of thing, you know.
I love that.
I think that's the biggest thing is social media nowadays too. It's easy for social media and all that to portray the success and to focus so much on the success.
Yeah.
But not a lot of people talk about how they succeeded, right? Because no one wants to talk about
The failures.
yeah,
No one wants to talk about
document
the
us like eating chicken, rice, and
Right.
asparagus for 12 weeks. No one's gonna want to watch that. They want to see how Mr. Olympia did his pro
Exciting.
debut. He got
The dark sport, the stuff, yeah.
No one wants to talk about all the other stuff, and that to me is crucial because I think that's giving out a different mindset to people that I can do it. Well, different scenarios, different situations. Did you go through this? Did you go through that? What did you do? What are you doing in your life? Do you actually want to get there, or are you just, are you just saying that to, make yourself feel better? Whatever the case may be. And I think that's what's wrong and what's going on with social media nowadays, because
Yeah.
we only show the success
successes.
and what we want to see, but no one talks about the grind and all the work that we put in to be able to get to where we're at, and all the hardships
Yeah.
that you go through. Because at the end of the day,
trials and tribulations.
So yeah.
So along your journey, what would you say from it can even be from you're young till now? Like, what is the worst advice you've ever received and the best advice you've ever received?
Worst advice is, if I can do it, you can do it. That to me is bullshit.
And why is that?
Because everyone's life is different.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could tell you, I think that to me is the most obnoxious thing that someone can tell some other person. I mean, don't get me wrong. I actually used to say that, right? With my clients, as a trainer, if he can do it, I can do it. No, different variables. It's not true. So that to me is probably one thing. The best advice is the slogan of my team: make moves. You gotta just do it. It's like Nike. It's their slogan. It's there for a reason. Make moves. You gotta make moves.
Yeah.
It's a mindset. It's a mindset that you take the leap of faith. You can talk about it, but are you making the move to get
Actions.
there? So exactly. So it's much deeper than the brand. That's why I call it Team Make Moves. But when people ask me how it started, it's really a mindset. It just stuck to me, and so yeah. Best advice is to keep
Just
fucking
make
making
moves. Yeah,
it.
yeah. Something
Love
so
it.
easy like
Yeah.
Nike, just do it. It's like,
Yeah.
Make
where
moves.
do they come up that in the boardroom? Hey, what should our slogan be? Just do it. There it is.
Yeah.
And the last couple of things, because I know you guys came from far. Social media. Do you feel like you're getting a lot of people that are competing for the wrong reasons? Meaning they want to be on gear. And this is just specifically about gear, right? Because nowadays I feel like I see a lot of young kids. To me, young is like early 20s, even mid 20s,
Yeah.
that are just on so much gear
Yeah.
to be good for Instagram, if that makes sense. Like not even like, oh, I want to do a show.
It's just for show.
Do you ever get guys that are like, I want to be coached by you because I want to be shredded because I'm going to go to Vegas and I need content? Like, do you get a lot of that now that your brand is pretty big and people come to you for stuff?
I did before, but I think now the team has a standard to where, without me saying what the standard is, it's there. But to answer your question, yeah, I think it's very common to see young people and even like just people our age that just does hyper dosage of a lot of things, and I think it's very unhealthy. I think that one of the most things that irritates me is when someone tells me, like, for example, their dosages with something, and then they would say something like oh, I'm doing 1 ml of this or 1 cc of this. I'm like, well, how much is that?
Yeah.
Because it's that's
250,
milligrams.
360,
Exactly. So it's all different, and they're like, oh, I don't know. I just told to just take 0.5 of this and 1 ml of this. I'm like, you're taking a gram of trenbolone
Oh my
acetate
God.
every week. Do you know what's that doing to your body? And to me, I have probably saved a handful of guys' lives because of just letting them be aware of the dosages. Just simple thing as that, like I'm just letting you know that
Right.
you're taking this amount of this
Yeah.
of this specific compound, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is why this is happening. This
That's
is
why I have high blood pressure and I have
Yeah.
acne all over my back and I get
Yeah.
night sweats.
Yeah,
And I think sometimes, do you feel that people are doing these things to take the easy way out? Like, instead of putting in the work in
Yeah.
the gym and cleaning up their diet and nutrition, they're like, well, I'll just take this and it'll.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a very common thing as well that I've seen. Not only
an easy way out.
and I think it's very unhealthy. Because for us, we know we do it because we have to do it in order for you to get to that next level.
Facts, yeah.
But for us, when we get enhanced, you also have to reciprocate with the work because the ceiling becomes higher as far as your genetic capabilities.
Yeah.
So when that genetic capabilities goes higher, your effort also has to
Match
get there and match it. And I think people think that if they get on gear,
It happens instantly.
exactly, which for some people it does, because some people are blessed with
Genetics.
genetics, and some people might not even take that much to be able to get there. But I think majority of the people and the kids nowadays have that idea because that's what they see on Instagram. Their favorite influencers,
Yeah.
would take this and that, and then all of a sudden they're taking the same thing, and next thing you know, they can't have kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
things of that nature, I think, is not considered, especially for kids nowadays, to be able to make the rational decision that, like, oh yeah, I might want to look jacked right now, but then I'm probably I'm probably cutting off like 15 years out of my life.
50
Easily.
yeah, and I bring that up because you're in it, dude. You're deep in it, Olympia, and you have a team. So I always wondered, because I get questions about it from people like, hey, I want to get jacked for like summer or whatever, but what compound should I take? I'm like, dude, I feel like, this is me personally, I feel like you shouldn't be on anything unless you're gonna do a show. And then even then, where do you start? What's your baseline? Like, what have you been doing? How long have you been in the gym? What's your eating habits and stuff like that? So I see too many kids, I feel like, that are on Olympian dosage,
Yeah.
if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And they're eating like a flame broiler twice a day, and they're eating like 2 protein bars. They're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get jacked, and it's like the long term, like, what's your 10 year gonna look like? What's your 15 year in your life gonna look like when you're married, like you said, with kids, or just even health problems? There's been there's a lot of deaths.
I was just going to say that there's
heart
been
attacks.
so many
Yeah.
huge in the industry who have passed away.
Pass away
Yeah.
from that. So I think it's a very serious conversation that has to be had, especially from people like you, where you do hold a place of influence. But I think there's a responsible time and a place for it. You sign up for it. It's what you do, but
Yeah.
please have someone be able to guide
Monitor
you.
you too.
Yeah, monitor blood work and
At
stuff
least,
like
yeah,
that.
do your due diligence, actually research and specific dosage. Even just if you're watching this, at least take that away. Just know your dosages.
Yeah.
Because when you're aware of that, it's like taking 5 Tylenols, and you're like, oh, my doctor told me to take 100 milligrams of Tylenol, but you didn't see the serving size.
Right.
Right. It takes, like, you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I think that's a huge factor. Even with a diet.
It's like peanut butter.
Yeah.
Oh, you said have peanut butter. Measure that shit, because that catches
Yeah,
up really quick.
It's true. I had a girl. She's like, my protein shake has 40 grams of protein. My peanut butter. And I'm like, what are you putting in it? Oh, like peanut butter. Well, do you realize peanut butter,
Like a scoop.
like 2 tablespoons, is 190 calories,
And
and
other
how much
people-
grams
Exactly.
of fat you're putting in? Like 8 tablespoons.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, yeah.
Yeah, so
It's true.
simple thing like that.
Yeah.
Just knowing your dosage and actually, being aware of that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
It really does. Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure. And again, a lot of people look up to you. We had a lot of great responses from people when we said you were going to be on. So it's been awesome to have you on. For me, I know we're going to party. I'm looking at his girl right here in the
Yeah.
corner. We're going to party next week at the Dark Sport event, but I'm excited to see what the next chapter for you is, even past this, even past competing. You have a very good business acumen. You can tell you really care about it. And I think we need more people like you in the
So
industry.
humble, too.
Very
Just very-
humble, because I originally got into this industry is because of the way it made me feel, right? How working out made me feel and how I make other people feel with the knowledge that I have. And I can see that you hold that true to your heart,
Yeah.
right? You care about your clients, you care about your people, you care about your 6 gym bros. And it's been an amazing journey to see you from when I saw you at that photo shoot to now. I'm just like, I'm so proud of you, dude. You've
Thank
done
you.
so much. And I know this is just like
Thank you.
the tip of the iceberg for you.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Definitely.
I'm excited to hopefully see you up there at the Olympia stage again, and go visit your gym in the future and maybe be a gym bro with you guys.
Yeah.
But as always, my man, I appreciate you coming in.
For now,
Thank you for having me.
we'll see you next Saturday.
See you
For
next
sure,
Saturday.
yeah.
Stay tuned for that, you guys.
Exciting stuff.
Until next time, you guys.